So we're talking about how to reorg the government. How do you reorg IT? So what's the best way for IT? Because that's really the question. What roles need to be in place in healthcare IT in order to have a very good focus on cybersecurity and be able to inform and educate the board and the various things that need to happen? I mean, what's the best? I'm turning this right back on you. What's the best organization and way to get ready for that?
Yeah, this is an interesting time, and people say that they want the cybersecurity people reporting up to compliance or to the board itself, and to take it away from the CIO. And I'm not so sure that I agree with that. And the reason is that the people who are wonderful at cybersecurity have to be a little bit paranoid, and that paranoid is not based on false concerns; it's based on a reality. But there always is this balance that you need to make. And so the question is, who's the best risk manager in your organization? And if the CIO can play that role, then cybersecurity should probably report to them. The reason I suggest the CIO is because generally they speak some form of cybersecurity probably more effectively than many of the other groups that have been typically assigned as we're making reassignments of cybersecurity. So I still think the CISO should have a reporting relationship to the CIO. And I think if that's not the case, there should always be a CIO and CISO in discussions where you're trying to make decisions about how to take care of the cybersecurity or actually all of the IT assets that you have responsibility for. And it's the trade between access and security that always is the most difficult thing to assess.
Yeah. And I'll give a little different spin on that. In that, sure. When I came into St. Joe's, all the security reported up through me, and one of the first things we did is we hired a chief security officer, not a chief information security officer, chief security officer, who had a digital background, and that reported into compliance. So oversaw physical security, I mean, you name it, building security, as well as really compliance around information security, which was interesting. So I now had a peer who, the two of us would always go together to the board and present, because he would present, hey, here's where we're at. And I would talk about the very specific minutia of, okay, here's the investments that it's going to take. Here's what we're trying to defend against, and those kinds of things. I would be very focused on cybersecurity, and so we sort of tag team there. The thing I liked about it was he was very focused on education, and quite frankly, the biggest risk we have is 23,000 employees clicking on an email, giving away their credentials, reusing passwords externally, and that kind of stuff. And so, that element of the training and education, he was focused on every day. So I think, cybersecurity, most CISOs I've met are really strong technically, but when you talk about influencing an organization, they almost need to be at the C level in terms of how do you drive education programs and and those kind of things. So